What's up, everybody? Alan here. Gonna give you a quick preview. I said quick. The last take of this was way too long, so we're gonna try to go faster. This is a preview of the new Wind Reactor Module for Foliage Renderer. I posted a GIF of this, I don't know, a week or two ago. But this gives you an idea of where the system started, but what I want to talk to you about the most is where the system is going. So here you can see a bunch of different things all responding to a wind controller like you are used to seeing in Foliage Renderer or Foliage Renderer Deluxe Shader. It uses the same uh, texture sampling methodology. Um, it has samplers in the scene. Each of these little guys has a sampler that reads the wind at its given position. And then it has an activation range, so basically how far away from the main camera does it have to be before it is allowed to care. And then it will drive a number of wind reactors. It will pass the information about the wind over to the wind reactors, and then they will do whatever they want to do. So in this case, you can see these little rectangles rotate to point in the direction of the wind. You can think about these like these would be weather vanes on top of a barn, um, or those windmills with the big tails that turn, right? Or kites or banners or flags, right? Like all those things that like, hey, the wind is picking up. I want my castle flag to whoosh, right? And I just want to put flags all over my scene. And I just want them to always go in whatever direction the wind is moving. Perfect. You're all set. Um, you can also see the speed of this animation on this really ghetto windmill, right? It speeds up as the wind hits it more. And you can control the sensitivity of all these things. In the case of animators, you can drive the different types of properties. You have control over axis lock of transform behaviors. You can move, scale, rotate. You can change volume and pitch on audio sources. You can turn particle systems on and off. Just play and stop. I didn't expose all the other properties because particle systems have a lot of properties. And that potentially gets crazy. So you could also do materials. You'll see this like the body of the windmill turns blue. There we go. Hey, right on cue. Um, that's really powerful. You can use that to drive a lot of the things you might drive in a particle system by just doing it through the material, which is useful. Um, but sort of once you start getting into, oh, I want to do the first random of two random between two constants, like, the start value versus the overtime value, that gets like a lot. So version one, at least, gonna be really simple. It's just gonna be on off. If you want to increase emission rate, just have multiple particles with progressively higher cutoffs for what they turn on at. Um, and that would effectively give you the same result. And we could look at making that cuter, as we go. But bare minimum, that's where it's going to start. But I would like to hear what properties, if any, you might want to drive there. Any other sort of standard components you might want to manipulate. So the premise here, like for these particle systems, is like, oh, I want to have leaves fall off my trees only when the wind blows, right? Because everything's moving in my scene because I'm using FR-Lit or FRDS. Um, everything's responding to the wind. Now I want the wind to come through, and then I want all the little leaves and pollen and everything to blow into the air. And that, will be nice and responsive. It will feel alive and connected, a thing that is missing from a lot of exterior video game scenes. Things are just like wiggly all the time is how wind looks a lot. And as you've seen from the FR examples, like the pretty simple wind can look pretty good once you get the material properties dialed in. It's worth taking the time to do that if an exterior environment matters to you. And this is another one of those like little touches that is really going to elevate your scenes. So sounds great, right? There's a problem. which some of you veteran users may be thinking about already. And that is, yeah, great, but how do I actually put these on my trees? Because I've painted trees onto my terrain already. And I can't just change the prefab. Like, the other stuff doesn't show up. It's just for rendering, right? Right. All right. So let's look at the second part of this package, which is the thing that I'm calling the terrain decorator. And so here, oh, get out of the game view. Here we've got a little ghetto terrain, but it's fine. It's good enough. It's good enough. I'm going to put trees and bushes and grass and stuff all over this eventually, but for now, just quickly give you the rundown. So we have these little trees, these little capsule trees. They're just blue capsules so that I can find them. And they, let's say we want to attach something to these. We want to attach all of our little falling leaf particles to all of them. I could drag my falling leaves and like manually put them all down, and that would take a lifetime. So on our terrain, we have a new component called the terrain decorator. And what it does is it processes a number of decorator scriptable objects. Decorator scriptable objects define what things to attach to what tree and detail instances on your terrain. Now, I would probably not attach like a grass blade particle to every single grass in your scene. That seems like a bad way to do it. But for trees, I think this is great. I'm gonna add support for detail stuff, but you know, don't do stupid stuff and then complain to me that you did stupid stuff. Use your brain. Now, what's great about this, you can set the seed so you get deterministic results. Cool. Why would I want to get deterministic results? Well, maybe you want to apply this at runtime because you're streaming things, whatever. So you can apply on start, and when this terrain decorator starts up, it will do the work. You can make it a synchronous job or let it run over time across multiple threads by choosing amortized. You can also do this at edit time if you don't check that box, and you get these two handy buttons. So I'm gonna click this, but I'll show you what the scriptable object looks like. So this is a very simple implementation just to make sure I have everything working. I'm gonna make sure I get all the little settings here, and then I'll nicen up this property drawer a little bit. So for each prototype, right? In this case, our capsule tree. We want to find every one of these capsule trees on our terrain. We're going to put a random object down, right? And so this is a bucket, right? I can have multiple buckets. So I could say, give me a random leaf particle, give me a random, I don't know, mushrooms underneath, like whatever. You can have whatever you want as random objects underneath your trees. And you could have a null thing in here if you wanted to chance that it didn't show up. And then you can set the spawn weight and it'll sort of add up all your spawn weights and then randomly pick one, right? Cool. In this case, we're just always going to put a cube on each capsule tree. That's all this one does. And this is just purely for demonstration purposes and my testing. Ultimately, you will have a tree here. You will want to put in a particle system or whatever. So let's go back to our terrain and we'll hit apply decorators, and bam, it created all of our things in 0.04 milliseconds. So 0.04 real seconds. This one's not in milliseconds, I don't think. Some of them I changed the timing to be consistent with Profiler, and some of them I haven't gotten to yet. This is a work in progress. I'm making this video so you can give me ideas. All right, cool. Now, if we look at one of these cubes, it knows the index of the thing it's attached to. It's an array of indexes because maybe you want to have like a patch of grass or a patch of flowers or whatever that like one big particle belongs to, however you want to set it up. You have lots of options with this setup. You can control how this instance responds to what happens to this index. You're like, well, I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay. A lot of you are making survival games where you're cutting trees. Many of you have asked me for a tree cutting feature. we have to put a particle on a tree in order to have leaves fall off the tree. But if you're making a cutting tree game, you're going to cut that tree down, and then you're going to want to turn that particle off. So the particle needs to know the tree it belongs to, so that when the tree goes away, it knows to hide itself, right? Well, if we get rid of the tree, then we've got to rebuild the terrain data, which that's really heavy. And you've probably optimized for it already, or you haven't, and it runs bad, and you're probably screwed. Wouldn't it be great if we just stopped rendering the thing with FR, which we're already rendering, and it just worked faster, and we never had to rebuild our terrain data? Yes, that would be way better, right? And now we have a tool that lets us place things in our scene at every instance of a tree, which means we don't have to spawn colliders via the terrain. We can just spawn all of our colliders as decorators, and we never have to interact with the terrain or the terrain data, which is heavy, and that sucks. And this way, everything is almost free, which means we can click remove instances here and turn off that tree via the decorator. Now we can restore the instance because the tree grew back after a while, or however you want your game to work, right? It's going to be up to you to manage, like, oh, I want to turn this tree into a stump, and then I will blah, 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 blah. It's going to grow back over time, and it's going to be a sapling, and then turn it. I'm not doing that part. That's on you. I thought about it, and I was like, I'm not making Farming Simulator as a module for FR. Not today, anyway. Not today. Maybe another day. But so, this is where we're at. I've got to add support for details, and I need to add support for like a cellular sampler pass, right? So, like in this case, these little 3 trees together, we don't really need each of these to sample independently into the, you know, the wind shader to know if they should all play their particles or not individually. Like we could just have one for this little clump, and that'd be fine. But it'd be close enough. The trees themselves will all still animate normally and do their thing in perfect, sampling. But each of these little things, the less things we have doing the, compute shader readback, the better. So I'll add some tools here to be like, okay, we've got all these things, grab all my prototype decorators, make me a grid of, 12 by 12 or 32 by 32, samplers for my terrain, slurp all the prototype decorators that have a wind thing into their corresponding locations, so that they have the right parent hierarchy to automatically find the sampler that they care about. 2 button clicks and we'll be done, right? So I got that to do. I got decorator or detail coverage, and then I'm doing like nice trees, and I've got like some falling leaves for each of the Unity sort of example trees from that URP terrain that we keep recycling and stuff for because free we can. I kind of need to find a little wind ambient sound that's public domain and loops. So I gotta get one of those, and then this will be pretty nice. So, quick high level. You get cool, stuff to make your scene feel a lot more alive and a lot more naturalistic. You get a way to easily and very fast place stuff on your things that works at runtime or edit time, and it's really, really, really fast so far. I mean, you will be able to throw enough instances at it that it won't be fast, of course, but you can sort of, by being able to do it at edit or runtime, you have the ability to sort of do what makes sense for your project. And the functions for processing trees or details are separate. So it's really easy if you need to make a custom implementation to just extend what's there and sort of overwrite the little bit you care about, which is cool. Then you get prototype decorator, which will keep track of and optimize your rendering with FR for showing and hiding individual instances on the fly, which gives you tree cutting that many of you have asked me for a minute. So there you go. If you could think of anything that you'd like to have or you'd like to see, I'm really excited about the potential of this project. I mean, even just like the material animation stuff with the wind is wild. You know the direction of the wind and you know its intensity. Wouldn't it be great if in your blizzard level, like everything got frosty and it got like more like little frost veins like crystallized around stuff as the wind blew in a direction? It totally works, right? You have everything you need to do that sort of thing. So I'm really excited about the potential of it. Even the like basic implementation of just like, oh, point me in the direction of the wind and then, you know, turn particles off and on. It's really good. So there you go. Any questions or concerns or thoughts, let me know. Let me know in the Discord. And we'll look forward to getting this one out very soon. I also have to do docs. I know you won't read them anyway, but shh, that's our secret. I have to put them in the package Unity makes me. Unity makes me do it. Otherwise, you get nothing. I mean, probably. Some of you read. Yeah, but I don't talk to you because you read the docs. It's a life I've chosen. It is a life. All right. There you go, everybody. Enjoy.